What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to Cowboys News TV, your go-to spot for all things Dallas Cowboys. I'm Dave, and today we've got a juicy episode packed with some huge storylines as the Cowboys get ready to take on the Baltimore Ravens. After a shocking loss to the Saints last week, the Cowboys need to bounce back, and the Ravens are trying to avoid an 0-3 start. So, let's dive into the top 10 storylines for this big-time matchup. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're getting close to hitting our next milestone of 11,000 subscribers, and we need your help to get there. So if you haven't already, click that button and join Cowboys Nation. Your support means everything, and it helps us continue to bring you the best Cowboys coverage out there. Let's make that final push to 11K. Now, let's break it down with 5 key storylines for the Ravens and 5 for the Cowboys as they get ready to square off in Week 3. Ravens storylines. 1. Desperation mode for Baltimore. The Ravens are in a position they haven't been in often, starting the season 0-2. They've only started 0-3 once in franchise history, back in 2015. So you can bet they're coming into this game with a sense of urgency and desperation. This is a team that's been to the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years and made it all the way to the AFC Championship game last season. They are not used to losing. What do you think, Cowboys Nation? Will this desperation make the Ravens more dangerous, or can the Cowboys take advantage of their early season struggles? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. 2. Lamar Jackson's dual threat. You can't talk about the Ravens without talking about Lamar Jackson. He's one of the most dynamic quarterbacks the league has ever seen. Through 2 weeks, he's averaging a whopping 83.5 rushing yards per game. That's a running back's workload. But despite his rushing, his QB rating is only 86.5. He's thrown an interception in each of the first 2 games, so the Cowboys defense needs to capitalize on his mistakes. Cowboys Nation, what's your strategy for stopping Lamar? Should the focus be on keeping him in the pocket, or do we blitz and force him into mistakes? Let us know in the comments. 3. So close, yet so far. While the Ravens are 0-2, it's not like they've been getting blown out. They nearly pulled off a win against the Chiefs in Week 1 and lost by a field goal last week. This is a team that could easily be 2-0 if a couple of plays had gone their way. So don't be fooled by their record, they're still a dangerous team. Do you think the Cowboys can close the door on the Ravens in a tight game, or do you see this one coming down to the wire? Vote in our poll and let us know how you think this one plays out. 4. Ravens offensive line struggles. The offensive line has been a weak spot for the Ravens. Head coach John Harbaugh has openly called them way too inconsistent. They've given up some big plays, and the pressure has been on Lamar Jackson. One player in particular, Daniel Falale, has struggled, but Harbaugh has stuck with him, saying he earned his spot. Will that change if the Cowboys' pass rush gets to Lamar early? If Micah Parsons and this defensive front can take advantage of this shaky O-line, we could be in for a big day. Sound off in the comments, how many sacks do you think the Cowboys will rack up in this game? 5. Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers, the playmakers. Even with their struggles, the Ravens still have Derrick Henry, who's racked up 130 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns so far. But don't sleep on Zay Flowers, who's leading the team with 13 catches. Another name to watch is tight end Isaiah Likely, who's quietly leading the team in receiving yards with 137. These are the playmakers the Cowboys defense needs to keep in check. Cowboys storylines. 1. A wake-up call at AT&T Stadium. That 25-point blowout loss to the Saints was a gut punch. It snapped a 16-game home winning streak and was the biggest blowout we've seen since 2020. To make matters worse, it felt eerily similar to the playoff loss against Green Bay last season. The Cowboys need to shake off this loss and come back strong. This game could be a turning point for the season. How confident are you in the Cowboys bouncing back? Let us know in the comments. 2. Defensive collapse versus Saints. After a stellar performance against Cleveland in Week 1, the defense fell apart last week. Alvin Kamara ran wild on the perimeter, and the Saints scored touchdowns on their first 6 drives. Micah Parsons was held without a sack and had just 3 pressures all game. The defense has to regroup, and this is the week to do it. They can't afford to let Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry run all over them. 3. Rushing game woes. The Cowboys' rushing attack has been practically non-existent. We've got 3 players, Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, and Ezekiel Elliott, all sharing carries, but none of them have found a rhythm. The Cowboys are currently ranked 25th in the league in rushing yards per game with just 85 yards. Something's got to give, especially with Ezekiel Elliott having only 56 yards in 2 games. Cowboys Nation, what's the answer? Do we stick with this committee approach, or is it time for one guy to take control of the backfield? Sound off in the comments. 4. Jake Ferguson's return? One bright spot could be the return of Jake Ferguson at tight end. He missed last week with a knee injury, but he's been practicing, and Mike McCarthy is hopeful he'll play. The Cowboys could use his presence in the red zone, where they were 0-3 last week. If Ferguson and possibly John Stevens return, it could give Dak Prescott more options in the passing game. What do you think, Cowboys Nation? Will Ferguson's return make a difference, or do we need more firepower? Let us know in the comments. 5. Kicker duel, Tucker vs. Aubrey. This game features one of the greatest kickers of all time, Justin Tucker, and rising star Brandon Aubrey. Aubrey has been lights out, setting an NFL record for the most consecutive 50-yard field goals to start a career with 13. Meanwhile, Tucker has missed 2 kicks, both from beyond 50 yards. This could come down to a battle of the kickers, and Aubrey's confidence is through the roof. Do you think this game could be decided by field goals? Vote in our poll and let us know your predictions. That wraps up the top storylines for this Cowboys vs. Ravens showdown. It's going to be a critical game for both teams, and there's a lot at stake. We want to hear from you, Cowboys Nation. What's the biggest storyline heading into this game? Drop a comment, cast your vote in our polls, and let's get the discussion going. Before we sign off, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're so close to reaching our goal of 11,000 subscribers, and with your help, we can get there even faster. Your support means the world to us. And if you found this video informative, give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow Cowboys fans. Let's spread the word and keep growing this amazing community. Thanks for tuning in, Cowboys Nation. Stay strong, stay engaged, and let's get ready for another action-packed week of Cowboys football. Go Cowboys!